Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Church Coffee, Christianity, Conservatism, and Culture. Today, we're talking about homelessness in Charlottesville with Love Inc.'s director, Ray Klein. Ray, thank you for coming on.
Sure.
First and foremost,
Good.
how do you take your coffee, or do you drink any other type of caffeinated beverage?
No, I go with coffee on one, maybe two cups in the morning. Splash of cream, sweeten it now with honey to stay away from sugar and sweeteners, and it works. Takes the edge off.
Excellent. Honey. I think that might be a first for our program, but I very much approve local honey or just something from Costco or Kroger.
I prefer the local honey.
What's your story? Give us a little biography of your life and how you came to be Love Inc.'s executive director.
Well, sure. Graduated from FSU, so I'm not real popular here. Advertising and public relations degree. I spent 26 years with Sears. I left as the district manager in DC, came back to Charlottesville and bought three 7-Eleven franchises. I did that for 13 years. And now I always wanted to be in the ministry. And Love Inc. came along, it was open. I got rid of my stores, and here I am 21 years later. So don't add them up 26, 13, and 21. I did decide to retire this year, though. I want to spend time with my kids before the major event. Lost my wife last year after 61 years. We've got three kids, seven grandkids, and two greats. That's sort
Wow.
of my story.
And
Um,
what denomination of is there a denomination that Love Inc. is associated with at all, or is it just kind of
we are non-denominational. We are Christian. Love Inc. stands for In the Name of Christ, not Incorporated, which I think is really a neat tag. But we are non-denominational. We don't get involved in the politics of churches. We're here to help people through the church. We depend on the church to help the folks that are in need.
I guess that kind of dovetails to my next question. What is Love Inc.'s theology towards homelessness? I guess asked in another way, what biblical principles do you draw upon that shapes y'all's
Well, I'll
outreach?
pull up the one tag that I use a lot, and that's Matthew 25. It starts in 35. It says, "For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger, you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." And then the righteous will answer and say, "Lord, when did we see you hungry, thirsty, etc., etc.?" And he says, "You do this to the least of my brethren, you've done it to me." So that's really a statement of what we are all about. But also in John 5, he says, "Do you want to get well?" Basically, I walk with people as long as they'll walk with me. When they stop walking, I stop walking.
What are some of the main causes of homelessness in the Charlottesville-Albemarle area in general? There seems to be a stereotype that a homeless person is either a drug addict or mentally disabled. To what extent is that
Well,
true, if at all?
unfortunately, I get a lot of my information from the police. Substance abuse leads to law, and this isn't just necessarily the guy on the corner, but substance abuse leads to the loss of job, loss of family. So when you don't have family structure, throws people into a homeless situation in so many cases. There's a growing population of homelessness here because they hear it's a good place to live and that the people here are very generous. And so, it's called grab your spot on the median.
To that end, stigma of being homeless can affect how we treat a person. What are some ways you encourage and should avoid when interacting with homeless people?
Let me give you my little pitch here. Basically, there are three kinds of folks standing on the median. There's the truly homeless guy that's mostly addicted. A large part of their life is substance abuse. The second one, though, is a scammer. That's his day job. He gets whatever he gets tax free for the day. And then there's the poor guy that just lost everything. He's like the one I was talking about before, but he doesn't want to live there because he knows what it's like not being there. He's the one that we Love Inc. can really help. So that's pretty much what I see.
But in what way should we, for the first, is there a way that we can identify the first two versus the last one? And in what ways should we be able, and in what ways should we
Well,
interact with maybe those?
it's difficult to tell. You can almost tell the truly homeless because of the way they're acting, the way they're dressed. Although the folks on the street corners have really cleaned up over the years, mainly because of the Haven. It gives them a place to get cleaned up. And I'll talk about that later too, about the Haven. But when somebody falls into homelessness, especially ones that are newly visited, they really would like to get out of it if they can, and we can hopefully help those folks. The ones that are addicted and have mental issues, I'll talk about that later.
Homelessness nationally has seen a significant rise since the start of COVID. Did we see that trend happen in Charlottesville? And if so, what are the causes behind that specifically?
Well, COVID impacted just about everything. I mean, it's restructured just about everything. We're still working to grow back our volunteer base, and I think the restrictions have helped to separate us as a society. Let me flip back, if you don't mind, to the previous question. The stigma of homelessness and how we treat a person. That's where I sort of give my "don't hand the money out the window" speech. Except for the scammer who takes 100% of what he gets, the truly homeless really probably, according to what I understand, probably as high as 85% of what you hand out the window goes into substance abuse. And what I would ask, and what I do ask, is give that same money that you hand out the window to one of four agencies, or all four if you want. Not Love Inc., because that's not our wheelhouse. And that's above my pay grade, to be honest with you. But Salvation Army, Patcham, who is open now for keeping people out of the weather during the wintertime. The Haven, which is a day haven where they can take showers, they can store their stuff so it doesn't get stolen. And then on and on is the fourth one. They deal with substance abuse, giving the money out the window. If it's going to a person who's addicted, that's where it's going. And so what you're doing is you're locking them into destructive behavior because you're contributing to it. There's a better way to do it, and it is to give to one of those four organizations that are trained and know how to deal with their issues. And basically you multiply that gift almost by four when you count gifts in kind. I would encourage people to give to them, not out the window. When women are involved, so many times they're forced to do it by their handler. I pulled up on hydraulic the other day, where it meets 250, and right in front of me was a brand new GMC. I mean, a big, brand, shiny, brand new GMC. And there was a lady standing on the median, and she walked over to the truck, and I'm saying, "Oh man, don't give her money." And the window goes down, her hand goes into the window and comes back with a cell phone. He immediately takes off, going to the right across 3 lanes of traffic west on 250. And I'm like, what in the world? And it dawned on me, he gave her a cell phone to call him when she's ready to be picked up. There's a lot to the story of homeless people, and they need our help more than they need our money.
So in what way can we specifically help besides giving money to those organizations? I assume those organizations, along with yours, need volunteers would be a great place to start.
The only problem is in order to really change anything, you really need to be trained. And so for people just to volunteer to help, to hand out stuff, I think it takes people that are involved with the homeless and know their idiosyncrasies and know how to deal with it. Unfortunately, you can get hurt because we see New York and all the stuff that's going on up there. That could happen here also, so that's why I just hold to those four organizations that are trained for somebody to jump in and want to help, have the good heart to help, but could end up getting hurt.
Instead of giving money, what about giving other types of materials, food, clothing? I know sunscreen is often, I know the Haven
Yeah,
often puts
I don't
out.
have any problem giving food, clothes. In fact, we will give stuff that we have to people. So we take donations here at Love Inc. And I've given propane, I've given sleeping bags. I mean, if we've got it, we'll give it. So I mean, anything to make them as comfortable as we can, and especially now that winter is here, cold is here, and cold rain, cold. But that's where Pacham comes in, and which is just a great organization to keep people out of the weather. I know that one of the things that triggered bringing Pacham to town was the fact we had a couple of folks die behind a dumpster years ago. There were two different individuals, and we don't want that. I mean, we want to do anything to keep them safe, and so Patcham works through the churches. They go into their fellowship hall. They have a group of folks that provide a meal. They provide breakfast. They give them a bag of food when they leave. So that's a good. And then the churches also provide the food.
Yeah, I've participated in Watch Them through our church a few times. I very much recommend it. Safe and warm, and it's a good way to build relationships. But you also really see how these people have wrecked their lives, and some of them are on the way up, and a lot of them are just treading water, which is really sad. In your opinion, what are the good action items that the city and county governments are doing to help homelessness? And what are some bad action items that the city and county governments are doing that harm homeless people?
I think allowing folks on the median. I don't. I know that when years ago Albemarle did not allow people on the median, and there are many cities across Virginia that will not allow folks on the median. To me, it just encourages them to live within that network. The other thing is it's like even downtown, they're allowed to solicit, and you can be checking money out of an ATM, and they can be standing right beside you. Nothing you can do about that. I don't really see the governments doing that much, whether it be city, state, federal. I know federal gives money toward it, but I don't see where they really are active as much as churches are active. To me, the churches, in fact, I'll just throw this in. That's the way that Love Inc. got created. In 1977, Virgil Gawker, who was a social worker and also a Christian, he felt like Johnson's war on poverty was a miserable failure. And so he felt like churches should be helping people in need, not the government. And that really is the foundation of what started Love Inc. Way back in 1977. I don't see the government doing that much. Now they may be, but I don't. From my perspective, I don't see it.
What are some personal stories about people that Love Inc. has helped you'd be able to share? Make up a name or something, but what are some success stories that Love Inc. that over your time that Love Inc. has helped with people?
We give cars away is one. If people donate it, we turn around and recycle it to someone that needs it. Had a young lady that came in, her car blew up. She asked us for a car, and we didn't have one. No one had donated. And by coincidence, the very next day, someone from First Baptist, in fact, brought the car in to donate. And we called her and we gave her the car. Several years later, she came back to tell us that she would have lost her job had she not had that car. And because she got the car and had kept her job, she met her husband. They had two kids and had just bought a house. And she said, all because you gave me the car. That's one. The one that really touched my heart was a family that had a newborn that was in trouble and it was at UVA. And normally folks can stay at McDonald House, but unfortunately, the parents of the baby had epilepsy. And so their parents had to be with them because of that. And so they couldn't stay at the McDonald House. So I put a call out to the churches, and this was the 1st of December, and we were able to keep them in a motel as a family unit. And somewhere around Christmas, the baby did pass away. But that family was so appreciative for us keeping them together during that real critical, sensitive time. They since, and they were from out of town. They were from Roanoke, and they since have referred another family to us that was in a similar situation. We were able to help. There's a lot that Loving does. Basically, we are a clearinghouse for churches. That when someone approaches a church and says, "I need help, I need money, I need 40 bucks to get back to West Virginia," whatever the need is, the churches say that you have to go to Love Inc. first, or their ministry that we work with. I want you to do an intake through them. We do the intake, which takes sometimes up to an hour. We want to know their backstory. We want to know, why are they asking the church for help? Why are they in need? Was it self-inflicted, or is it something that was beyond their control? Then we get back with the church and ask, can you help? And if they can't, or if they can do partial, then we would put a general call out to all the churches and come up with the need. We also are working with people that are constantly in need with a program called Transformation. What Transformation is a series of classes to try to expose people to what it's like to be self-sufficient. Unfortunately, people that are in a cycle of poverty, they think that that's the way that they have to live their life. It's always been that way, and it's always going to be that way. Transformation tries to take you down a different road to where you can see that you can be self-sufficient. And our latest issue or initiative really is called Care Portal. Care Portal is in 33 states. They came to Charlottesville, and because of Love Inc.'s reputation, they asked us to be their implementing partner. The purpose of Care Portal is to keep kids out of foster care. DSS announces to the portal that they have a need. The churches that have joined the portal, and we have about 20 churches now that are in the portal, they open the portal and they grab the need. It could be a bed, it could be various other things that are there to keep kids with the family. Since February, we've helped 395 kids. at a cost of $134,000 in gifts in kind. So it's tremendous. I love Love Inc. I really wish my time hadn't run out, but at 83, I guess it's time.
Yeah, I would say that's a life well served. Good sir. Is there anything else you want to say about?
I've enjoyed this life, and I would do it all over again.
Is there anything else you want to say about Love Inc. or greater homeless
Uh,
awareness in
yeah,
Charlottesville?
I'll say this: that every community needs Love Inc. There's about 130 around the country. There's one in the valley that has 3 thrift stores, ladies, and they are quality thrift stores. They're in Waynesboro, Stewart's Draft, and what's the other one? Fishersville. They do the transformation classes also, and they use the income that they get from the stores to promote that. But I would say every community needs a Love Inc. to coordinate the churches. It's not churches partnering with Love Inc. It's churches partnering with each other to tear down those denominational walls in order to help people in need. That's why we're here.
I think that's a great reason. Well, Ray, on behalf of Love Inc., thank you so much for joining Church Coffee. We'll see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Our album art was done by my wife, and our theme music was composed by TJ Stokes.